Hello, friends. Greetings and salutations. I literally couldn't remember if it was the beginning of the week or the end of the week. It's the end of the week. It's Thursday. I usually do the second reading, as you guys know, on Fridays, but tomorrow we're going to be driving a whole lot. So today's the day for your end of week 3 card spread. I have it here. There's so many things I want to talk about today. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do the 3 card spread and then I'm going to talk about these concepts and we'll see if they're relevant in any way. Basically, what I want to talk about is the shadow self and its value in your healing journey and in the journey of you becoming the most empowered version of yourself. In the recent past, we have the magic stream. Magic stream has everything to do with everything we choose and everything we create affects other people, and everything everybody else chooses and creates affects us. And we are interconnected, and there's no way to be disconnected. Of course, you can pull yourself out of the magic stream, but even that action has an effect on the rest of the stream. What? In the present moment, we're being encouraged towards certain kinds of love, and the outcome is the one ring circus, which has to do with trusting yourself and taking the actions you know you need to take. Has to do with healthy amounts of self-reliance. So the magic stream, let's look at it right now. In the recent past, Adele motherfucking King, ladies and gentlemen, coming to us live from Israel, because she's a badass. Everything is connected through the universal flow of consciousness. Every experience you have seems to have its own life story. Hi, honey. With a beginning, a middle, and eventually an end. However, there is danger in seeing events as separate from one another, since in fact they are all part of a continuity and a greater evolution. I have run into this teaching and have been humbled by it so many times in my life. I'll tell you an example in a second. Like an ever-flowing magic stream, your experiences filter through the whole world, one leading into another, informing and influencing still more. Inspiration, invention, and revelations rarely come to just one person. The collective awareness is a shared storehouse of potential. The collective awareness is a shared storehouse of potential. When you remember you're part of the fluid continuity of life, you become a channel for great inspiration. Allow the magic to flow through you and carry your dreams into reality. Your success will benefit many. There have been many times in my life where I've ventured out into a kind of individualist, I got this, I'm going to say what I think and what I know and lead things from a perspective of I got this without being as considerate about the needs of the people involved as I should have been. And it would be years later as I would develop as a person and just become more sensitive and drop into myself more fully and realize, develop, I should say, more compassion and more mercy and more understanding really of other people's way of being, of the differences between myself and other people, that then I would look back and go, oof, maybe I shouldn't have been quite so brazen in my steadfast pushing forward into the whatever the fuck I was doing and saying and teaching at the time. So I learned a lot of humility by, after the fact, having made bold moves, having had an effect on other people, having had people listen to me, and then later on discovering like, oh, it actually really affected them, the things I said and did. We are all part of a magic stream. We are all part of an interconnected, fluid river of life, really. I tend to, here's a nice little segue into what I wanted to talk about today. People with trauma, like real trauma from childhood, we all like to be so above it and so past it and so functioning beyond it or whatever. One of the actual real life effects of trauma is the development of low self-esteem, frankly, and the sense that you don't exist, or if you exist, you certainly don't matter. So how could anything I say on the internet really matter if I have an internal sense of I don't exist and I don't matter? In fact, when you look at the narcissistic wound, which happens during the narcissistic developmental stage of every human being, every human goes through the narcissistic stage of development. It's a part of growing up as a baby into a toddler and then into the next stage after that. When there's wounding at that age, what happens is we develop this like compensatory, egoic, I'm the center of the universe, I'm so important narcissism that is there to compensate for a lack of healthy ego. So you live your life, the AA way of talking about this, or the 12-step way of talking about this, is they call it the biggest piece of shit the world revolves around. That's what alcoholics who get sober are usually dealing with inside themselves, is they have a personality that is super narcissistic and egoic because it's been compensating its whole life for a sense of emptiness or a sense of valuelessness inside. So for myself, the narcissistic wounding I've had to heal in myself has been my own version of that, where I think I can just toss information out and lead people and it has no effect because I don't actually matter. But the fact is I do, and so do you, because there's no escaping the interconnected magic stream. Luckily for me, my whole life is about learning things on the fly, fucking up, and calling people and owning it later and going, well, I fucked that one up. I'm hoping you'll be willing to forgive me. And then, by the way, learning the lesson, gaining what we call wisdom, internalizing it, and hopefully not making the same mistakes again. So that's a long-winded way of talking about the shadow, which is what I wanted to talk about today. I'm going to say more about it in a second. So reminder for the 3-card spread today for you at the end of this week. In the recent past, there's been something about the interconnectedness of you, your life, your choices, and the rest of the river of life. Something's been up about that. Present moment, you're being encouraged. But let's see the specific flavor of encouragement that this card speaks to. Huggity, buggity, wuggity. You are receiving a nudge in the right direction. Isn't that nice? This card tells you that you're being gently encouraged to step into your power, into the dream of your life. New things are out there to be explored, and the nurturing power of the universe is giving you a nudge in the right direction. You will get the help you need and won't be alone in your quest. Every step you take right now is supported by the wisdom of the universe. You're on the right path. Keep going. Well, that doesn't suck. Hi, Marcy Lester and Laura Pratt. Lovely to see you guys here today. Thank you for being here. You will get the help you need. This is present moment. And you won't be alone in your quest. Every step you take right now is supported by the wisdom of the universe. You're on the right path. Keep going. Well, what else do I have to say about that? Nothing. The outcome is the One Ring Circus. This is a card I run into a lot. I'm a bit of a trailblazer, and this is a card for the trailblazers among us. Hi, good to see you. The One Ring Circus. Okay, this is the outcome. Remember, we want to think of these spreads in a sort of continuity, right? So in the recent past, we've been connecting or maybe avoiding our connection to the all that is, and then being reminded like, hey, you're part of the magic stream of all the things. Present moment, you're encouraged, you're on the right track, keep going, you got this. And the outcome is you may need to step a little bit into self-reliance. Let's talk about it. You are capable and competent, even by the way, if you don't feel like it right now. And even if you've had a lifetime of trauma, and even if everything you think about yourself is judgmental and critical, it's not true. Independence is key now as you step into your journey today. Others may not have the vision or resources that you need. Recognize that all the wisdom you've acquired along the way makes you particularly competent, capable of moving forward with self-assurance. Self-reliance is important. Another aspect to consider, oh, I know just how to talk about the shadow in relationship to this. Okay. Another aspect to consider is creating and maintaining clear boundaries between yourself and another. Be discerning about your partnerships at this time. When you know who you are and have a healthy sense of where you end and others begin, you're able to enter into the best kind of relationships and will attract people who mirror back your wholeness. Interdependent relationships are always mutually supportive, stimulating, and transformative. You can achieve anything at this time. Here's how I'm going to segue from this into talking about the shadow. So people on a spiritual path, oftentimes we get the teaching that it's about surrender and unity and connection and love. So we're all working all the time to surrender our egos to the will of the universe. What's in my highest good, we wonder. What's for the greatest good of all concerned? Like, what's the highest choice, et cetera, et cetera. These are excellent questions to be asking. I believe in them, and I ask these questions all the time. In the pursuit of the highest good, sometimes you have to step into self-reliance. If, however, you step into self-reliance too often, too much, Any energy, you guys, that happens too much or is out of balance needs to be brought back into balance. But no energies that you embody, including anger, reactivity, judgment, fear, all the shadow energies that we like to repress and pretend we don't have any of, any energy that exists within you or has ever existed within you cannot actually be destroyed, right? This is just physics. Matter can neither be destroyed or created. It can just be transformed. So when we repress the shadow, okay, let's say aggression, the energy of aggression. Sometimes you need the energy of aggression to be self-reliant. Sometimes you need the energy of self-reliance in order to move forward with whatever you're moving forward on, because the people around you right in this moment, maybe not forever, but right in this moment, they don't get it yet. That's okay. They're not wrong and you're not wrong. They're just where they are and you're where you are. You need to lean into your self-reliance to move forward. Now, if you only lean on self-reliance, you're going to have problems. And then you're going to be reminded of, check it out, the interconnectedness of all things. So it's lovely that we have in this spread both of these energies. Hey, says the universe, you're part of everything. Everything everybody chooses and everything you choose is all connected to each other. Given that, go forward. We're encouraging you. Use the love and the nurturance of the universe to go forward. You're on the right track. And don't be afraid of your own self-reliance and your own empowerment. You may need to just strike out on your own a little bit, just for a minute here. Let's look at how long. 3 to 6 days, whatever's on your plate right now. Just tune those other people out for just a minute and strike forward for the next 3 to 6 days with your own independence and your own self-reliance, because it's correct right now. It's not the only thing that's correct, and it's not correct forever. Remember, please, the only constant is change, my friends. The only thing that sticks around and is a permanent answer to any question is that everything is freaking changing all the goddamn time. I mean, I need this reminder all the time. My whole life is built around everything changes and nothing stays the same, and yet I forget it all the time too. So this is a reminder for me as well. I'm right there with you. Lastly, just to tie up all these threads, what does all this have to do with the shadow? Just a reminder, any energies you repress inside yourself. Let me say this a different way. When anger is up, or fear, or sadness, or doubt, there's something in it for you. It's trying to give you information. Sometimes, did you know that anger exists to show you where your boundaries are? Did you hear that one? Anger exists to show you where your boundaries are. 9 times out of 10, when you're angry, somebody's either crossing a boundary or you're afraid they're about to, or some version of that. So anger is useful. You're not a bad spiritual person if you have some anger. You want to evaluate your anger and understand your anger. Sometimes your anger about a boundary crossing has to do with the past. Oh, I had a ton of trauma as a kid, so I perceive everything around me as a boundary invasion when it really isn't. But still, the anger that's coming up is valuable to you because it's trying to show you your past and all the energy you're still carrying from your past that you could process and integrate and then have some freedom around. No energies that come up within you are to be repressed or denied. They are to be felt, processed, integrated, understood, communicated with, connected with. We're supposed to connect with what comes up. And then what happens is consciousness puts it all in its right place. The degree to which we're not willing to connect with the feelings and energies coming up inside of us is the degree to which we create separation within ourselves. And then we get crazier and crazier and have less and less energy. The last thing I want to say is when you're connected to your shadow, all shadow means all the parts of you you think you shouldn't be connected to. Anger, judgment, fear, sadness, sorrow, grief. When you're connected to that, you have a lot of energy. Because the shadow is not meant to be denied or pushed aside. It's meant to be used as an engine of energy that serves your higher self. So you want to make choices from your higher knowing fueled by the engine of your lower self. They're supposed to work together. What? You heard me. Now, in an honoring of the lower self, I have created a theater company. Many of you know about it. sixlinestudios.org is our website. Check us out. Attached to this video, there is a GoFundMe. We have raised $8,000 toward our $20,000 goal. February and March, we are producing our first show. I'm so excited. It's Peter Nachtrieb's The Totalitarians. Talk about a lower self piece of art. It's a piece of art about politics, but it doesn't shit on either side. It shits on politics itself and the lies that the political machine forces people to tell. And it's a fucking dark comedy. Why? Because the lower self needs expression in this reality. The fact that I don't even like saying his name, the T person, the man who's gross, whose name starts with a T, who's maybe going to be in jail or maybe run the country. You know how our world works. That guy, he exists in our faces because we were unwilling to look at our shadow. So he said, consciousness said, here he is, your shadow. So if we were to just own our shadow, internalize it, process it, work with it, don't stop at the shadow. Oh, I'm angry, so I'm just going to be angry forever. No, process the anger. We wouldn't need a Trump to mirror to ourselves what we all carry. That's why he's there, because the collective won't look at itself. So artists like myself make work to show you your lower self so that maybe you'll own it and transmute it, and so that maybe all of us in the collective can do our work to be integrated whole people who don't need to lie to the collective in order to achieve fucking positions of power. Namaste. Contribute to the GoFundMe.